Thank you. Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin by doing a shout out to Chief Master Sergeant Wolf. Good to see you again, Chief. And I'm looking at your very impressive bio. It's got a lot of duty time in Alaska. So the rumor is that when you're someday when you retire, you're going to go back there. Is that true?
Senator, that's an absolute fact.
Good. That's a great answer. You're one of the many reasons why we have more veterans per capita than any state in the country. You come up, you do all this time in Alaska, then you want to do great things in the military, and then you say, hey, when I'm done, I'm going to go back. So to all the great senior enlisted in this panel, we welcome you to follow the lead of your great Air Force compatriot right here. And come on up to Alaska. We would love to have you. And only when you retire, you guys still have a lot more work to do. Let me ask actually an Alaska question. It's for you, Chief Master Sergeant and Sergeant Major Weimer. I want to thank you as well. And you know, we've had a high suicide rate up in Alaska, very high with our Army and to some degree the Air Force, but you know, Sergeant Major with the Army, it was a really high number over the last couple of years. I think we've kind of gotten our arms around that, but can you two speak to that issue? It's in both of your testimony, not just as it relates to Alaska, but throughout the force, and maybe I'll let all of you jump in. It's a big issue, but you know, in my experience in the military, in the Marines, you know, you give your troops hard tasks and you train them hard and you deploy with them, and you know, when they're focused, sometimes those are the issues on suicide that actually go away. But I'd like to get a sense from all of you on what more we can be doing. We're pretty focused on that here in the Congress, but I think it's really, if anyone's going to get their arms around it, it's going to be our senior enlisted in all the services. So Chief Master Sergeant Wolf, why don't you start?
Thank you so much for that, Senator. And you're right. This is a problem that doesn't just exist in one state. Doesn't certainly just exist in our country. This is a global issue that happens. When I talk to the Chief Master Sergeant of the Japanese Air Force, they have a concern for suicide problems. So this is a human condition problem. What we've noticed is that in places where we can get the funding and the manpower for the mental health technicians that are embedded in units, whether it's military family life counselors or anyone with some training in this department, when we can embed that care, as you know, the Special Operations Command has proven time and time again that this is a model that works. We can reduce not just the suicide risk, but also the risk for all the other kind of self-destructive behaviors that happen when people are, going through life and having things happen to them, right? Tragedies come, and people have a lot to deal with. So I think if I had a magic wand to wave, I would try to get as much embedded care into our units in all of our services, so that we can have that sensor in there that is a trained professional that can be that kind of outside the chain of command person that can help folks through those times. And really what that ends up doing, we've seen it time and again, is it keeps them out of the mental health clinic, which is should be your emergency room for a mental health problem, and helps them solve and get through those problems ahead of the curve. So embedded care, I think, is great. Access to our mental health, filling our mental health positions is another piece that we could definitely use some help on. Yeah. I think there's some ideas that all of us are working on and talking about. We talk together about these issues frequently. We all have the same concerns. If we could figure out how to have a pipeline to keep these positions filled, maybe even using our military spouses who quite often have these helping profession degrees already to get them in. We may be coming to you for some help in that department in the future as well.
Good. Sergeant Major, do you have a view on this real quick?
I'll try to be quick on this one, Senator. First, thank you for the question.
this is probably the topic, I don't want to speak for everybody here, but the topic that I probably bang my head up against the most. Everything's difficult in our portfolios, but this is the one that probably I'd lose sleep over if there is one portion of the portfolio. I remember those days in Alaska. We surged.
Yeah.
We surged all resources to get up there. Part of it's caring. We learned that. Part of it's leadership. You're never going to replace that with a program, with money in a special program. But there's some new things we're trying. So we're trying to take the best of breed lessons from an entire army that's from Poland to Korea. We're consolidating those now, and we're giving them all to the department. All the services are doing this now. So like what happened in Alaska, we can learn from it and not just move on because it's better last year. VR goggles, as a small example. I haven't spent a lot of time in the virtual reality world. That's not how I grew up. But they asked me to be a coach in the virtual reality world, and so I did it. And it was one of the most awkward things I'd ever done in my life because of the realism. And soldiers are responding to the training for the VR goggles. Our goal is to get left of having to use all of the in high demand mental health resources we have. And so just in a couple minutes, that's where we are.
Great, good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a big issue, and I know this committee's been focused on it in a bipartisan way. And if you gentlemen, who really are front lines on all this with the troops, have ideas for us, make sure you submit them for the record, because we want to be very forward-leaning and helping what remains a big issue. And your ideas we want to hear from, and we want to try to implement those. So thank you to all of you for your service. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator.